Can you see the screen all right?
Yes, but that's a lot of toolbars.
I figured that was the case. All right. It should be. Let's just switch it to entire screen because I changed the size.
Oh, yep.
Much better, right?
Yep.
Now you can see like yourself in the corner. Let's like not see that. Okay. So I was looking at your Photoshop document. I have my navigation box here because I'm lazy and I don't like grabbing the hand and moving it around.
hmm
So I could see, did you use like a default texture?
Yeah, I just used one of the patterns that was in Photoshop.
Okay. That's not a hard thing to like fix. But I also saw I could see everything.
Yeah,
I
I
saw
used the
this
person as a base.
and I don't blame you. I did the same thing. um it was like off-centered, which is strange. So some of the basic things that I like noticed is like for one, if I turn all of the color layers back on, when we zoom in, I have my grid on, but can you sort of see there's like this little white area between the black line and like the arm color,
I think so.
especially like right here. If I zoom in on the hand a little more, you can definitely see like this is white
Yeah.
and this is white. And what that shows me is that like you have like a semi-transparent outline in some places, and then you don't have any color underneath the transparent pixels.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can see the white background. So if I turned the background off, you could see the transparency around it. Or if I
hmm
took the background and I made it this purple color, make sure it's selected, foreground, you can see that now it's purple down there.
Yeah.
And her eyes too, but I'm not gonna blame anyone for that. All right, now let's undo the fill. So I think what I would do here is definitely I would trace people a bit more, but just technical wise, I would like, well, what I usually do is when I'm coloring, first off, let's just take all of these off
Uh-huh.
and leave just the lines. I will put the background a color just so I can tell if there's that transparency problem, or if there is, it's less of a problem. So let's fill. And this is like a 25%-ish kind of gray. I experimented, I used 50% gray when I did the Doctor Who, and it came out way too dark. And so I found out that using like this 25 to like 20% gray is like a perfect mid-tone just for the
Okay.
background. You can add your colors or whatever afterwards, but this is just good so that you have you're not fighting the color white, which
Yeah.
we can kind of see the skin, like it's a little like saturated because the white was too much. It was popping out. I think it's something that Chrissy would say. What would she say? She say like come forward. Um, let's see. What I would do with, let's just say the dress, is I would have the lines. Can use the magic wand tool. Did you use the magic wand tool for this?
No.
Okay, you can. I don't know why you. I know why you wouldn't.
It just never really occurred to me to use it.
Oh, well, see, look, because you had all your lines were all closed, I make the mistake where I often have like little open bits, like where like the edges should be. It's perfect for the magic wand tool. And
hmm
what I use in addition to that is I select grow or select expand. Where is it? Modify expand by like 1 or 2 pixels. So maybe try 2. what did it do? What did it do?
I am not sure.
Oh, okay, I see. One of your outlines is open.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this one's not open. This one's not open. This one's not open. That's weird. Maybe I accidentally clicked on it. Okay, let's expand again. Only wait 2. And that's what I expected to see. So what that does is it sort of like brings out the selection, so it's like slightly under
Oh, I see it.
the lines. I think maybe 2 is too big because if you look over here, it's moved. Like you have like 1 pixel lines.
Mm-hmm.
So you can always modify contract by 1. There you go. Now it's right along that line. And also, if you feel like your lines are too light, you could just duplicate them.
Mm-hmm.
And see, look, it's a little darker.
Yeah, I definitely was running into that, and I think later I realized it was because my drawing thing that I was using was actually accidentally set on a more transparent one. I just never really fixed it.
Okay. I put like a brush pack, like a link to like download some of the resources that I have, and so I have a brush pack in there.
I think I
It's one
tried
that
to download it, but my laptop is too full. Like there's like no storage.
Okay. In that case, maybe I have like a smaller one too. I can put that one in there. But that brush pack, what it does, instead of putting the brushes here, it puts them over here. And
Mm-hmm.
so one that I really like is like 2B pencil and where is it? You come down. There's like a color pencil one. Wax pencil, Dry Media wax pencil. And I use that for doing my lines. And you can see it's like not like a perfectly round shape. It
Mm-hmm.
has like a nice like organic like texture
That's
to
cool. Yeah, I
emulate.
think I definitely have to take a bunch of things off of my laptop too.
Yeah, I can't fix that.
Yeah.
I recommend an external hard drive. I love those
Oh,
things. I have one. And then before I had one, I had like 6 flash drives. So I figured I might as well just buy like a hard drive because it's like $50.
yep.
And then you can find them on sale sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have this selected. We have the lines copy selected. Usually, in order to prevent myself from like accidentally drawing on the lines, I like stick it in a folder
Mm-hmm.
because then I'm like, oh, it's not accessible. What's happening? I can totally see it though. And then I'm just gonna put your assets in here. Oh, can you see this all right?
Yes, but like right in the corner of it is like the Google Plus with like my face.
Okay.
Wait.
Wait, I'm just moving the folders around.
Oops.
Maybe I should bring up the resolution.
Okay, I see it. I got it.
Okay. Well, now you can see my background. It used to be something embarrassing in anime, and then when I started bringing my laptop to class, I changed it back to the default.
Well, the background of my laptop right now is a fan art of Scarlet Witch and the Vision from the Avengers. So
Okay, I guess that's not super shameful.
I'm pretty much accepted that I am a 10-year-old. So
Mine is we had like a poster contest featuring like the themes of our family and our fraternities. And so our family, like our family team name, because we were like 2 combined families, was Dumbledore's Academy.
Oh,
So we had to combine the family, the academy, and like Dumbledore's army together.
that's so cute.
But I drew like an art of like my big and my littles and I, and then the people from the other family, and that was my background, and it was a little embarrassing. All right, So what I'm doing is like when I'm selecting using the lasso tool, I'm holding shift, so it just adds it on. You can also choose it to like do that by default with one of these options here. I think it's this one. And then also in addition to that, if I want to like subtract a section, like let's say it selected the arm and I didn't want it to, if I hold Alt, it'll like chop off part of the selection.
Oh, I see.
In order to save time, I use the selection tools a lot when I'm coloring just to get like sort of those spaces blocked out.
Mm-hmm.
It saves a lot of time. And then with this, I like using a gradient, but I can also use a flat color. So in my gradient options, I'll do foreground, background. I know she was a green, but what colors would you like to do? Like a blue?
I was trying to get her to be more of a blue, actually.
Okay, so let's
Kind
maybe
of,
try
yeah.
this blue mixed with a slightly darker purpley version that's less saturated. That could be nice. All right, let's zoom out. And if I'm using the gradient tool, which is this one, I'm sure it's on like the single bar gradient. I can sort of just map out like how I want the color already. I think this one looks better because it draws the eye to her face. And then I lock transparent pixels over here. Can you see this in the layers window?
I see it.
I can bring it over here. Like words on my screen are super tiny, even for me. So imagine they're like 30 times tinier.
I mean, I can see them and read them, so I'm good.
All right. So you can, at this point, you can deselect it because you've locked transparency.
Mm-hmm.
You can't color outside the lines. So let's see. There's a little lock on the neck right next to it. So if I took like a red and I colored, it won't go outside.
Oh, cool.
I lock the pixels. And so with this, oops, with just the color sort of placed in, I usually create a new folder if I think it's going to have a lot of layers.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't, just because I'm lazy. But for this one, I'm making a new folder, pretending I'm good. Base, and then on top, oops, we're not going to do that. On top, we'll have pattern, and then shade. So if you organize your layers like this, then if you have to change your color or if you have to change your pattern, it's a really easy thing to do.
Oh, because it's separated.
Because they're all separated, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm going to do with the pattern here is you can use like the pattern tools and make your own pattern. And that's if you're going to use this pattern a lot and you want to invest like that kind of time into it.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you 3 different ways to input a pattern, but here's the first one. I'm going to go into my textures. These are just all the textures I pulled for weeds in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This floral one is probably going to work. Now, currently it's just like an image. You can also take this and I'll show you 3 ways. So open in Photoshop. Now it's a new layer. So for this one, you can just make it bigger. Preferably don't stretch it.
Mm-hmm.
Duplicate it. And try and like connect it in a blending way. Where did I put it? What happened? Or you just sort of stick it and have it be gross.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. But I did it. All right. This doesn't work with all patterns, and there's still like a line there. Sometimes I just don't care. If this is really fast, this is like the fastest way to do it.
Mm-hmm. We can just say it's a seam line.
Mm-hmm. And I would blend it together and rasterize them because right now they're currently smart objects.
Mm-hmm.
And I would merge, merge these two layers together so they're just one, and create a clipping mask.
Oh, wow.
So it's clipped to the base. So basically, and all the layers above it should also be clipped to the base.
Okay.
So because this is a pattern, the pattern layer can be set into different blending modes, which is right here. You just bring it down, you select one at the top, I guess, and then you can just press the arrow key down and look through all the blending modes.
Oh, that is
see how
so
you
cool.
like them. Slider color, this is overlay. Overlay looks kind of cool. Soft light looks pretty cool. Hard light, vivid light, linear, pin light, hard mix. Difference is the coolest. Looks Asian.
Yeah.
Exclusion, subtract, divide, hue. I think I really like hue, but it doesn't really do justice. Luminosity. I think I'm really liking multiply.
I do too.
Yeah. And then you can also bring the opacity down if you want it to be like sort of a faded pattern. And one of my favorite things is like, let's say like, all right, the pattern's like cool, but it's like too strong, like overall. I'll go down here and I'll create a mask. It's the square with a circle in the center. And what this is, it's so there's an imaginary like layer when you have the mask selected. You imagine a layer that's completely white, and any space that you input black into is going to vanish. So I'm taking a foreground to transparency gradient up here. And I'm just going to drag some black down there, and that'll just make that part more transparent. And if that's not what I wanted, like if it's too strong, I can sort of go a little further down, and I can reduce like the strength of the pattern overall. You can even paint it out using like a black fuzzy brush. I have this one that has like a texture, so it's kind of interesting. Doesn't really look great on this, but
it's interesting.
It is interesting. I have like a custom hair and a custom button brush as well. There we go. Just lower the opacity of the brush. And just paint some of it out. And it's good like if there's like a part that's not hitting the light, you don't want it to be very strong. You can just sort of fade it out a bit. And that's usually after you've added in the shading. Oh, and also if you don't like this, if you were like, it was fine before I did all of that, you could just edit fill. Make sure you have the mask selected, not the layer, because obviously look, it's about to do the wrong thing. Edit fill foreground color. Oops, I had black selected. And then now it's back to how it was before. But the masking layer is still there. So if I go into shade, another way that I like shaded really fast is I had, like it's still a clipping mask, so it's like having the lock transparent pixels on, but it's exclusive to the base layer, which makes a little more sense if you just sort of experiment with the tools after you have this set up. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put this layer back where it was. I'm gonna get like a dark purple. Actually, for this, it might be better to use like a warmer color, like a green or a brown. And I'm going to just select the areas that I feel need shading. So I'll just select this. It's kind of like cell shading is what I'm about to do. I'll just have this selected so it'll continuously add instead of subtract. So just sort of add like parts of the skirt. Pretend there's like a hem or something there, I don't know. And then you could totally just select stuff that's like outside because it's not going to be painted on at all. Maybe a little around her neck, a little on the shoulder, a little cut out here. All right, so you have all that. Oops, zoomed out too much. And so I'm going to take this gradient tool again, make sure I have it, whoops, set foreground to transparent. And then I'm going to drag some color on there onto the shade layer. It's not dark enough. And so it's adding like a little bit, like you see like the straight up brown that's being thrown in here. Doesn't really look great. It looks kind of gross actually. That's fine. This is where I would multiply it, and you can see how it sort of subtracts the color, but in a balanced way, like in a painterly way. That's why you would add a warmer color to this cold palette. And then I can deselect all these selections and take like a tool that you like, maybe like the smudging tool, and sort of, this is way too big, and sort of smear them how you like. Ugh, I don't like the smudging tool. Let's go with a soft brush, or this rough brush. I have like a brush that's like a blending tool on another application. I guess maybe you want the smudging tool, but if I bring down the strength on the sides, you just want it softer. But like in certain parts, like you want it softer down here, but you don't necessarily want it softer on those lines where it's folding. And if we bring down the opacity of the pattern, or just basically take off the pattern, you can sort of see what I'm doing. Just pulling the shading around. You could also take a soft brush and just make sure you have the same color selected that you've been shading with. And sort of just throw it in a little bit. But I've been using Clip Studio Paint, and I really like it. Has like a water tool function, a watercolor function, where it sort of blends the colors as you paint, which I really enjoy. This is not quite doing that, but you have like the sort of general idea. You could even just straight up paint on this layer and not worry about anything.
Cool.
But because I'm doing it like in this multiply sort of like way, it's gonna be kind of messy.
Okay.
So you have to make sure you have the correct sort of like color selected, which is not going to be blue. It's going to be like this brown. You can do it without having them multiply it. It's much easier. And so now there's a little bit of texture.
Oh,
you could also bring down the opacity a bit, like create another layer and also make it, if it'll let me, create a clipping mask. And then just do like a darker. And this one I'm just doing it in the layers color. But the reason why you'd want to do it the multiply way is so that if you did change the colors, it wouldn't be a big deal at all.
Okay.
This one, like, it might be kind of a deal, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so yeah, it's shaded. You turn the pattern back on, and you can see that there's some shading in the dress. Oh wait, you added breasts. This one. Let's amend that.
Yeah, I had very low boobs.
Only very specific.
They're like, did you do it on purpose? I'm like, yes, I wanted her to have very low boobs. And I'm like, okay.
It's a flattering portrait of this kind of dress.
Mm-hmm. Everybody should wear these kinds of dresses. Droopy boobs for everybody.
I'm so comfy. Who needs bras? All right, now I can bring up the pattern a bit.
Oh, wow.
This. Ta-da! Oops. And then if we wanted to change the pattern, here's another way you can input a pattern. This is where this part of the lesson comes in. So we do layer, which is also clipping layer. If you create a new layer while you have a clipping layer selected, and there's another clipping layer above it, it will create the one between it will automatically be a clipping layer. So that's why layer 2 right here is automatically a clipping layer.
Okay.
Okay, so another way you can do this is over here, I have the pattern, and you could edit preset, define pattern. And then we go over here. And then you can fill with pattern, custom pattern. You select it. You can do a scripted pattern, but that's a little crazy. And then there you go.
Cool.
But then there's also yet another way to do this, which that one didn't give you a lot of control with what you wanted to do. So let's see. For this way, you'd have to fill it with a color. Now this one, it's still clipped, but this whole layer is filled with the color that you see here. That's okay, because it doesn't really matter what color you use. So you go into like special effects or layer effects, and you go pattern overlay, and then you go and you select that pattern again. This time you can move the pattern around however you want.
Oh, I see.
So you could be like, I want the flower like right here on this boob right there. You need a boob flower. You can also change the opacity here, but I don't really recommend that. You can also change the scale of the pattern. So like if you want it to be much smaller, much larger, let's go with it a little smaller. There you go. And what this is just a layer with effects on it, so you can't really alter it as well as the other things, except with this, with these like shade layers above it. But if you want it to be a flat sort of pattern in the scale that you set, I would just put a layer underneath it and merge down, and now it's just a flat layer. Just the same as the others.
Okay.
Yay, and that's the 3 ways you can put your pattern in.
Cool.
Let's make it double multiply. Oh my god, now it looks like an 80s floral curtain.
I want to grab tissues. My nose is leaking.
You might need that. It's too exciting.
I always get really bad allergies whenever I come home.
That's why I'm still in Los Angeles.
Ugh.
For some reason, this like making it smaller made it like a horrible raster layer, so it's like super fuzzy. Which may be what you want, but it doesn't look great. Look at that. Yeah.
Oh, it's fuzz.
It's much better. See, it's so much crisper. Well, I'll have to figure that out. But this also looks cool.
I like it.
Take this down a little bit. Just like ugly floral patterns everywhere. Okay, and now let's move on to the skin. So the dress has a lot of layers. So because the dress is in a folder, you can just compress it, and it's all your whole business is up there in that folder.
Cool.
So let's create a new layer, but put that in a folder. This will be the skin folder. And same as the dress, but this time I see you have some open lines here, and I think that's just because of the hair. I'm just gonna select this one manually. And if we put the hair layer on top of the skin layer, it's not gonna be bad, so it'll be cool.
Okay.
That's a great explanation, but it's not gonna be a problem. Also, what resolution did you paint this in? I didn't see.
I am not sure.
You did an 11 by 15 inches.
Yep.
But did you do it in 75 resolution, or did you do it in 300? Because this looks like 75.
I have no idea, to be honest.
Okay, so yeah, you did it in 72. All right, so that's why it looks so low res. All right, that makes sense. All right, so in the future, this is really important, especially when you're printing stuff out. When you're making something, when you're like making something that you intend to print, you can like the width and the height is really important, yes, but the resolution is the most important. For all printed items, it needs to be 300 or above. And you should definitely just keep it at 300 because if you go any higher, it's just ridiculous and hard for your computer to handle.
Okay.
So this is 300 pixels per inch, and right now we're running at 72 pixels an inch. So that's why the like flowers were looking super fuzzy and low res.
Okay.
It's also like another way where like your image like looks a little cheaper even though you work so hard on it.
Yeah, I was wondering about that when I printed them because I was like, that's not how they looked on the computer.
72 is the perfect resolution for doing like web stuff.
Okay.
And so if I was seeing it at like the intended size, let's see, I have zoom 100%. So this is the size that it's intended to be viewed at in web. It looks great, you know, right here like this. But like if I zoom in any, you can sort of see that it's fuzzy. The pixels are low quality. You can totally see the jagged edges, and that's because per inch there's not very many pixels at all.
Yeah.
Like these are huge pixels.
Yep.
And that's probably why you're using a 1 pixel brush, because you couldn't get it any smaller.
Yep.
It's okay. I made all these mistakes too when I like first tried doing digital stuff.
Can you tell that I was kind of just like, hello.
Yeah.
Bye. Looks kind of what I did.
I wasn't about to like say that. I don't know to Chrissy because I feel like she does the same thing.
No, yeah, Chrissy was telling me she was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
But to be honest, I looked at her Photoshop on her computer, and it's because like the grads all like put their own custom preferences on there. That like every time someone uses her computer, the preferences completely change. And so I showed her like how to like put in a workspace and set it up so that like it's her workspace, and then if someone else uses it, she can just revert it back to the same thing. And it's up here. It's window workspace, and mine's in like a sort of like adjusted version of the painting workspace. But you can also have photography, typography, 3D, essentials, motion. Hers was in typography, and she was trying to paint it. In typography, they hide all the brush and paint tools. So Chrissy was like, I don't know where to find the brushes. And I was like, because they're not there. Okay, so with Photoshop, make sure that you either have sample all layers selected or you have the line art layer selected when you're doing this.
Okay.
Web, when you're doing this magic wand thing. So holding shift, I have sample all layers checked off in my magic wand like options. So I'm just gonna add invert feet, and there's this like random toe down here I'm seeing. So I'm just gonna hit shift and add it in with the lasso. And just basically if I see like any lines that are sort of like basically inside the space that I'm gonna color anyways, I just select them too.
Okay.
It's just easier. You don't wanna like try and color around them. That's weird. And this pinky, you did a pretty good job for your first time. No worries.
Thanks.
Let's select, modify, expand by 1 pixel this time. Just because of this resolution, I would normally go like 2. And it sort of bleeds out into the dress on the neck, but it doesn't do it down here. It's usually like where you selected it with the magic wand where it starts to do this bleeding out thing.
Okay.
Let's go down here. No, this is good. That's all right. Fixing the resolution will fix this problem. It won't be as difficult.
Yep.
There seems to be like a bit of a hairline here. Oops. Actually, I think I'll like leave the hairline there because I'm gonna put the hair layer on top. I want there to be like some skin underneath, so it won't be an issue. Okay, so we have all the skin areas selected. And now I'm just gonna use the gradient tool again. The gradient tool is really great because you can sort of like put in like a subtle gradient of color without a lot of work.
Yep.
Let's see. Haley is darker, so let's go with like a warmer, like sort of mid-tone for her flesh, and then I like colder. Not that cold. All right. That's too. Look at her feet. Whoops.
Her feet have frozen.
Looks like she's got some sort of disease in there. Yeah, there we go. And this is just really subtle, but this helps. Don't hit undo. I was trying to do select, deselect. So remember to have your base unlock transparent pixels, just so that in the future you don't like make them as sticky sticks.
Oh, give me 1 second. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm watching you. I'm going to send you this Photoshop file that I used afterwards so that you can sort of see all the pieces.
Okay.
Are you writing it down?
Yes.
Here for the skin, I usually, instead of, because I'm not going to change the skin as much as I would change the clothes, and it looks much better if you paint skin with like multiple colors. For the skin, I'm just going to just basically paint on the base like a crazy fool. And I'm only going to use the clipping layers for, doesn't even need to be a clipping layer, for like the eyes and the mouth and stuff. And if I want to like nail polish on. So here I have the base selected, I have the layer locked, and because you have a gradient, you can just sort of sample from the face a little bit and use that. I feel like we need like a palette feature that's similar to Coral Paint. I don't really like this Swatch's business. Coral Paint, they have like a little sort of like paint tray that you can like put your color in, and then you can blend in there, and then you can go back and pretending like it's real paint. I miss that. I miss that a lot. But it's like paint that like never dries and it's infinite, so it's like magic paint. Usually, all right, when I'm shading skin, I bring it down a notch towards the center of like the reddest tones, and then I go down like a little bit into the saturated side of the shading. And so for this, I've got a sort of rougher brush. I don't like using a soft brush as much, which is what this is. Okay, this is like huge. You're not gonna learn anything from that. And I have the opacity of 20%. But I don't really use it like that. I use it in the capacity that you just saw where it's like extremely huge and the opacity is really low. because it's easier to do like subtle things with. Also, the brushes are super large right now because of the resolution again.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that just told me I needed to alter some presets. So the reason why it's coming out like this, where it's just like flat, but it's textured, but it's flat, I need to put the transfer at pen pressure. So the lighter I press, the lower the opacity is going to be. So light and then dark. And this is really going to help with painting. Also, I like having my pen pressure with minimum diameter as well, like pretending it's like a piece of chalk for this one. And I'm just going to shade it. You can see that some of the, go away. I can see that some of the skin has like blended to her hair over there, and that's fine. And then for this one, I'm pretending the light source is like above and like tilting down towards her face, which is what like you would typically want for like a dressing room photo anyways. So it works, but it's like dynamically not very pleasant. That's not very exciting for the future. So I'm doing like a cheekbone, darkening around it. Adding in like there's like these muscle things that go to the collarbones. And because they're like too thick and they're too dense, I can just hit, well, I have it a button. It's a button on my pen, but if you hit Alt, it can also be an eyedropper. I'll select the color, which really helps with like blending stuff, especially if you have like low opacity. Then I could pick like the darkest color I use and then like blend the colors into it. And then pick the blended color and then blend it more. And if it was like way too dark, I can just carefully blend it all together. So that looks a bit better. And then I get really small and get around sort of creases of the eyes and up into the brow bone. So what I do here, I'm having like a little bit of trouble sort of identifying what pieces you intended. I dropped the thing on the floor. What did I drop? To be what? It sounds like I dropped my pen, but I'm holding my pen in my hand.
Maybe another pen.
Maybe another pen. Oh yeah, it was another pen. Okay. Here, so just take some dark and put it here to give her a cheekbone. Oh wait, she's tilting her head that way. They wouldn't be too much. Just sort of blend it away. This is where I start to become Mariano because I'm just distracted and painting on your thing for you.
Oh, Mariano.
I love Mariano. This is amazing. This is hilarious. He loves being scolded. I scolded him a lot in class. Alright, I'm trying to like give her some nose shapes.
He did help me a lot in that class. It was hard though.
He was
That
very
was
helpful.
probably like the first drawing class I'd ever had.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was for a lot of people. So it was interesting. Like he didn't know how to teach people the basics at all.
Yeah. Because I was like, yeah, so I like, literally, this is me learning how to draw.
And just his shock is pretty amazing. But
yeah.
I'm happy teaching the basics. So I think that's why he was happy that I was just overly teacher's petty. Because I've been teaching people, like I would do like in high school, I would like draw like art tutorials on the back of people's old homework. Like they'd be like, "Can you teach me how to do this?" And I'm like, "All right, give me a piece of your old homework, and then by the end of class, you'll have like an instruction page." I think someone was trying to collect all the pages and then put them into a book, And that really didn't happen. They were like 6, so I don't really know. It's not like it was like enough to make a book. And a lot of them were like the same. People usually wanted to know like eyes, and so they just have like a whole page on eyes. Because it's easier to sort of like make an instruction booklet like really quickly, rather than to like explain it, sit down and talk about it. I'm just what I'm doing is I made like a really dark space right here. And you can't just have one really dark part, so I'm just adding the same level of darkness to the corners here. It kind of looks like pixel art because it's a level 72 resolution.
Yeah. It's just hilarious to me because when I was like doing it, I was like, I don't know why I'm struggling. I think it's just me.
It's not just you. Chad was struggling. A lot of people were struggling. They were like, wait, what is a face? What measure with eyes? I don't know how to measure with anything other than measurements. What are we talking about? What are we doing? It's basically, that was us in class. Okay, so that's just the shading in. I didn't even get started on highlighting. I think rather than doing the whole body, I'm just gonna do the face.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while. And then also another thing that I like doing is I like adding some pinks in, like some blushers or some spots where like it would be a little rosier because it'd be like, it's like thinner in this area and feel more blood, like the cheeks. And here I feel more comfortable usually doing it as a clipping layer. Clipping layers are your friend. You don't really need any other relationships other than you and your clipping layer.
Oh,
And
yeah,
here is where it's super appropriate to use your big soft brush. And I'm gonna give her like a pinker sort of like blush. Ayo. Turn down the opacity just a smidge.
I have a very dumb question. How do you get the color thing to open? Because I could not get it to open.
This?
Yes.
This here?
Yes.
If you need any window that I have open or anything else, it's up here in Windows. You just check it off what you want. So color is this one. It's in this. They're alphabetized, so you'll see it. So you also can get history open, which I don't like. You can also get, let's see, character. That's for letters, but yeah.
Okay.
But basically, like any window, like if like you open it and you're like, oh, I like it, but it's like kind of in the way. It's like floating all the fucking everywhere. This is my actions window. These actions I have are like how to turn your like your sketch that you sketch on a piece of paper that you scanned in into like a line art with no white pixels in the back, like completely. It's nice. I have like I think I sent it out or like put it on the like undergraduate costume Dropbox, whatever, Google Drive. Yeah, but then like if you have a window that's just like floating everywhere and you don't know what to do with it, there's a toolbar right here where you can just put all your windows that you're not using all the time. So this is where I have like all my tools that where I'm pointing with my finger. That one over here. Remember not to point with my finger.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem. A really good darker one. It's too pink. All right. Yeah, this is a bit better. Okay. Now that looks revolting. So that's why you'd put it on, not darken, but multiply, and you'd reduce it by a lot. This way you feel less bad. You can just put it on like regular, actually. Yeah, there you go. You feel less bad inputting these colors.
One of those ladies who just like dumps it on her face.
Just like, I love my makeup.
Yeah.
I'll show you how to put makeup on her too. I'd put like a little bit right here, because if you're putting on your blush, you put it on your cheeks, you put it on your collarbone a little bit, and you put it on your forehead. I don't understand it, but watch a beauty tutorial. They do it,
I know,
and I'm
it's
like,
weird. And then like sometimes like across the tip of their nose too, or something.
I think it's because they're like too white.
That could be it.
Yeah, I'm like kind of tan, so it just kind of like ends up in me, which is fine.
Mine, I just put here, and then it ends up like just blending into my face anyway.
Where?
Oh, here.
Oh yeah.
And then it
I think
just
that,
blends into my face.
yeah, for me now that I'm more educated, I should buy like a like more like corally kind of color for my skin tone because I'm very yellow. And it should like be like a part of my skin tone. And you should actually probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm lazy and I don't have my shit together, so I haven't bought like any new makeup since I made that discovery, and I discovered that quite a while ago.
Yeah, 'cause, like the makeup that I usually wear, it's actually like pretty white. Like it actually cancels out a lot of the yellow in my face. So I end up using like pinker-ish blush, but yeah, should probably use coral.
Just in general, all of us Asian girls should use coral.
Yeah,
Because I
because
don't think any of us are super fair.
no,
No, not even Jen.
no. Oh my gosh, no. Mm-mm.
Okay, so let's say Halia wants to match her eyeshadow with the purple in her
Oh my God.
dress.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now this one, I think I'd probably still use the chalk to begin with, the chalk brush. Oh my God, I have to make it so fucking small. All right. And I'm just gonna like paint this on right here.
Okay.
But it like, it's not really blended at all. And that's okay because we're gonna put on multiply and it's kind of blended. Now it's
What
part of
does
her skin.
multiply do? It does awesome things, but what is it
It's
doing?
what it does is it sort of like makes your paint like clear and it puts it on top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now it's not going to be because it's like transparent and it's like above the color below it. It's not going to look the same color exactly because of that particular effect.
Mm.
But that's okay because what I'm going to do is make another layer that's using an even smaller brush, like a 1 pixel brush now. It's too small, maybe like 5, and just add some like of the actual color to like make it pop. So this layer is not on any like multiply or anything. It's just kind of there, but it is underneath the multiply layer.
Mm-hmm.
So now she has eyeshadow on that matches the color in her dress, purple
Mm-hmm.
eyeshadow. And I'm gonna make a new layer, and this one's gonna be her like eyes. And I'm just, you let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm just gonna like ballpark where I think your eyes are. Oh God. Okay, don't use a low opacity brush for this one. I'm just sort of like using like a heavy, like a brush that doesn't change the size with my pressure to just sort of make out the shape of the eyes in a very old-fashioned, this is how I used to do things way. Did you like try to like scratch in all your colors yourself?
What do you mean?
Like, did you like paint in, like when you painted the skin, did you just like paint color?
Yep.
Yeah, that takes a long time. And then you miss little spots. Did you find like you like, oh, this little triangle here? Yeah.
Like, since I had my style sheets open in another one, and I like picked a person that I wanted them to be kind of like, and then just like picked out their skin color.
Mm-hmm. That's smart. You should. I like sometimes I bring out like a picture that I like. I try and bring up like an illustration or like a comic book sort of picture, so it's like the cell shades are easier to
Yeah.
find. Where this is kind of cell shaded, you can see there's like a hard purple or hard purple, hard brown here, but
Mm-hmm.
then it gets softer and blendier. I would pick something similar to the way I just painted. All right, so here are the eyes. I'm gonna lock their transparency so that I can't accidentally draw outside. So you can just, I can scribble, but it's not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So basically for the eyes, you want it to be a little closer to their flesh tone because they're going to be initially a little too white.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go 100% white when you're doing eyes. And what I always do first is I take a hard brush and then I add my shading, something like really small. And I just shade the top of the eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's super important because this is what's going to make them three-dimensional and it's just going to make them stick out of your
Yeah.
face.
Because I definitely had to like print these out and then try and draw the eyes in.
Yeah. No, that's well, it's not too bad. But like, if it's digital, why not do it digital all the way? Is my
Yeah.
like idea. Like always, I was never big on the let's scan it and then put a title on it and then print it out and then scan it again and then what are we doing? It's just a waste of paper.
Yep.
Okay, so we have the eyes shaded, like the eye whites, gorgeously shaded now. I just did sort of like a lighter gray color and then a darker gray that was in a thinner brush over it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing it the way I do it, which is like I just have all the eye on one layer because it doesn't really matter. It's easy to change. They're so small.
Mm-hmm.
What color eyes would you like? You can do whatever color. This is fun times.
Ooh, let's have her have like purple eyes.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with good mid-tone. Mid-tones are usually like right around the center here. Um, yeah. It's a little bright. And I don't think you wanted the big anime pupils that I could kind of see indicated by that line. So I'm going to do this. And so this is just a nice mid-tone. And I'm going to take an even smaller brush and outline it, but in a slightly darker color.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be more clear with a higher resolution image. But basically making an anime eye right now, if you're used to those. So I have like a dot in the center and then an arc at the top, but in the same darker color. And then the way you sort of like make that less anime is you pick an opposing color, which is this like unsightly lime green, and you put it on like screen in your brush mode, and you just do a couple strokes to sort of
kind of like highlight.
bring it out. And then you go very dark, but you take it off the screen. Still in the opposing color. It still looks kind of anime, whatever. Her eyes are there. And make it like, I'm gonna use this to like fudge your black lines and make it a little smaller.
Okay.
I get like Mariano kept like saying that my like eyes were super anime, and I get super mad when there's like an art teacher that like won't deal with me because my eyes are too anime looking. Yes, yes, yes. But that's not really constructive criticism. So just make them a little. I took the transparency layer off so I can go free bird with fixing these. I can't fix that, unfortunately. There you go. Some eyelashes there. Now she's wearing falsies.
Yep.
We haven't even gotten to the lips yet. That's the eyes done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it already looks so much better.
I think also what I would do is I'd go into here's the skin. I would add like a nostril on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Similar.
It's just really funny to me because my parents and like my family, they're like, "Oh, but you've improved so much," and I'm like, no." I'm like, but this, it's still like so not great.
They're gonna hate it, but I'm just like, don't trust your family on this one.
No, yeah.
I have like there's like stuff all over the walls, like in my house at home, where I'm like, I don't want to look at it anymore, but it's all there.
Yeah, same for me. I'm just like, that's not good. They're like, no, but look at how much you've improved. I'm like, no. I mean, like, sure, I might have improved some, but still not great.
I'm just sort of putting a color in for the lips right now. There we go. And it's okay if you don't have lines just to dictate the shape. That just means that you have like more freedom when you're putting the color in. Whoopsie. I didn't realize the eraser was so fucking huge. Let's fix that. All right. Yeah, and like basically I made brushes for like my buttons, and I made brushes for my zippers, and for if I wanted like beaded things, I have a beading brush like over here. And like the little like buttonholes, I have different kinds of buttonholes and hair. And if I want to do like 2 lines at once kind of thing like that, it's good for when you're drawing like the edges of coats for the first time, and you just do it once and you don't have to like duplicate it and move to the side or whatever you wanted to do. Yeah, maybe if I take this.
I'm definitely gonna have to
yeah, I can send you like my brush set. It's like smaller, but like I have this brush is like a modified pencil brush. Look, it kind of looks like a weird wedge of cheese.
Ooh.
But basically it's like a textured like piece of zipper that I try to make into a zipper brush, but it was awesome as a pencil brush. My weird cheese wedge. And this is like, what is this? Like adipose tissue.
Yep.
Okay. You'll want like a 5. There we go. I know you can like type it in, but it takes so long. And then you can also get like the presets set up in your window, but I don't like it. It's clunky. I'm fussy about these things. All right, and let's just make sure that I didn't miss any spaces. I can sort of see I have my windows over here set in, so it'll like preview, like it'll zoom in on the part. So this is lips, I should name it, but I was lazy. If someone's watching you, oh, what?
How do you get it to preset so that it's like just the part that you just did?
You right click on it and wait, no, you don't right click there. You click over here. Panel options, is that it? Yeah, panel options, and then you can pick your thumbnail size and you can pick your contents. Mine is set to layer bounds, which is what it does. And you can do entire document, which is the default.
Okay.
Yay. Just for efficiency. All right, now her lips are in. I'm going to lock the transparent pixels again. And then I'm going to take like a darker color. Maybe a little redder. Maybe a little purpler. There we go. And slightly less than dark. There we go. And that's just the lips. Now here you could probably do more detailed shading if this wasn't like 5 pixels wide. Because it is 5 pixels wide, I'm just gonna like, I feel like I'm just like, just being like, it's so small, Jien, I can't. But that's also like, the reason why I can't show you more is because the resolution's too small.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. At least we discovered that was like your core problem.
Yeah, it's like the biggest thing, because then I was so just like, why am I struggling? It's because I'm bad at this.
It's not because you're bad at it. It's just because you didn't know. There we go. And now she looks like a Bratz doll.
Oh goodness, yes, she does. She looks like the one token darker skinned one.
There's only one? I thought there were like 2. Maybe she has so many outfits.
Darker, not the darkest, the mid darkest one. I don't know.
The one that's supposed to be like Hispanic, but like is named Jasmine and is whatever. Yeah. Well, now she looks like a Bratz doll. And I made that eye shine, the lip shine too big, so I'm gonna reduce the opacity. Pick the colors next to it.
Crazy lip gloss over there.
Bring it down. Bring down that lip gloss. We don't need it that dark. But there's some high contrast up in her lips here. Okay, and so that is, well, not all her skin, but that is a decent amount of her skin done.
That is a very good, decent amount of skin done.
And then we're going to start putting
Awesome.
in the hair. Now, I see what you did here with the texture, but
Yes.
I'm going to remove it. And here's why. It's not because I dislike you. It is because I'm going to merge these lines down together.
I think I accidentally did this half, that left half of her hair on the wrong layer.
I think you did it on the color layer.
Yeah.
So when I bring up Jien's, I'm going to put Jien. When I bring up your assets, and I put her hair up, you can see it.
Yeah.
But then also you made her skin. My skin layer is like overtaking this. All right. Yeah. But that looks like it took a lot of time.
Yeah.
And you didn't need to do that.
Nope.
Usually what I do is I experiment a lot with like what can I do that makes the most effect, but in the shortest amount of time because I don't get that kind of time. So let's do hair. What I discovered when I was doing Vanita and Conrad's hair was you really don't need to do all of this. You just sort of need to like have the general idea for the shape. Bring up the eraser a bit. Just to get rid of it. And use the lasso tool. This is also more effective on the eraser sometimes. This lasso, and I'm just doing Control X to cut it. I'm not pasting it anywhere. There we go. And so I'm gonna do basically what you did. I'm gonna take this and sort of shape it. Not sure what shape you had wanted. Oh, I mean, just like a bit past these things. There you go. Just add something like that. That's kind of attractive. Sort of a general shape. Like Little Mermaid hair shape. But if you have like reference, you'll have like more of an idea of what you want. I don't have reference with me right now, so this is what we got. And then for the hair layer, now see, look, I didn't close them off because I'm horrible at closing things off because I have a very light hand, and that's why digital actually really helps me because I have such a light hand. It takes me so long to do things traditionally. There you go. It helps me like take out these like really strong effects in a very short amount of time. Okay, let's put this back in here. And so now I can take magic wand and actually I'm gonna not sample all the layers for this one. There you go. And then I'm gonna select expand, modify expand, Y 1 pixel, and that's good. It's going to cover up part of the beautiful eye makeup we did, and that's gonna be okay.
Okay.
And we're gonna fill it with a neutral, dark-ish brown. Edit, fill. If you use the paint bucket, it sort of like detects what other stuff's around it, and it gets annoying. Yeah, select, deselect. I can see there's all these little spaces, so I'm just gonna fill them in real quick. I guess they're part of something else, these spaces. Yeah, don't have to worry about them too much. They're minor problems. So for this is where it gets a little, she looks like a Barbie now.
Natasha?
Yeah?
Okay. It was being kind of weird for a second there.
Okay.
Okay, it's working.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna go zoom into her face. And this is too big, but I'm going to do this first. I'm going to get the foreground color and an even darker color, and I'm going to use the gradient to give it a quick shade. And just sort of block out the spaces that would be darkest, like here.
Mm.
There might be like a space here. And then I can even take a fuzzy brush that's not that big and sort of like block out like sections that are not going to be as light, you know? It's going to be like waves of light. And what I did was I took a little nervous because I'm not sure how this is going to work with like such a small pixel resolution. That's okay. I'm going to make a new clipping layer just in case though. So I can reverse it if I need to. Stop it. I kept on opening up the effects layers, or the effects window. And I'm just sort of doing like curves, sort of indicate the shape. As if she had like dreaded hair.
Mm-hmm.
And you can add like a light line on top of that. And then if it wasn't like a sort of dreaded shape, I would do just like large bundles of curls that sort of like puffed in on it themselves like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I would pay more attention to like layer blending. For this, I'm just gonna so similar, but because you're sort of shaping it with the curves, it takes less time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't even need to draw that line on the outside if you don't want to.
Okay.
I mean, you can take an even darker brush and then do a little bit if you want. And if it's on the clipping layer like I did it, you can lock the transparency and get your fuzzy brush up here. No. Your enormous fuzzy brush, it shouldn't be that enormous, and like make it darker a little bit. And then you can make some of them a little lighter. That's much too late. You get the
That's cool. Mm-hmm.
add some color. That's too much color. I'll also the opacity is 100%. That's probably what it is.
Haley's into dyeing her hair.
Mm-hmm. Or it's bleached by the sun. And then if you like this, but you're like, it needs like a little more of that like pizzazz kind of thing. I also like to take, let's see, create a clipping mask, take the gradient, transparency, and I like a purple for this, like a dark one or a dark blue. And put like a gradient in and then put it on multiply. And it'll do like a nice sort of like it'll like if you're having problems where it like doesn't look like the same, it doesn't look like harmonious, then you can sort of just do that and it'll put like a harmonious shade on it. It's the quick fix. And then there we go. Oh, we didn't add shades to highlights to Haley's face. Here I would, because I completely redrew in the hair, I would have to add in more shading underneath where the hair meets the skin. But just for now, I'm gonna go back to that skin layer and add in a little bit of highlights, but like really, really, really low opacity, really small brush, much smaller than that. Like highlights. She'd have a bit on her cheekbones. She'd have a bit on her nose, a bit across her forehead, a bit on her chin. And the color. Ooh. There you go.
Cheekbones.
Yeah, you should try and use the soft brush as like little as possible. And use more textured brushes whenever you can. Yay! And then I'm gonna save this. Let's put it in. Just put it in work for now. So we can sort of do a before and after. All right. So let's get. Oh, did I turn all these off inside? Yeah, I did. Oh, we don't need this one. So this is before.
Yep.
And this one's after.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay. It looks so much more real.
Kind of like a paper doll.
Yeah.
Like not in a bad way. If there's a pattern like this, like because it's kind of distracting, your shading can kind of be a little bit whatever, but it definitely has to be there. Let's close this. And I just got the pattern online somewhere. I was also looking at this one. Let's see.
Oh yeah, I was trying to do like lace things.
Up here.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just show you how to do. Did you want lace on her leggings too? Were they also supposed to be lace?
What was that?
Were the leggings also supposed to be lace? Because I saw that you had drawn like.
They were supposed to be kind of like transparent-ish tights that had rips.
Okay. So probably what you should have done is on your skin layer. I'm just gonna. Oh wait, I could probably just use the magic wand tool. Select, modify, expand by 1 pixel. Go away, cleaner. Right, first you should have drawn it in skin as well, and then maybe had the tights be like a clipping layer. That's okay. Let's see. And you could reduce the opacity on them. And let's see if I can make like a secondary living mask and bring up some like fish net.
Oh, I did not think of that at all.
Oops. I meant to paste. Well, now it's all over her skin, which looks cool, but is probably not the design choice you were going for. You only want it on this part of the skin. And then you could make it into a pattern, or you could just do this. Okay, actually at this point, I'd want to make it into a pattern. So file, no. So the way you do that is you go file, and then when you make a new, it automatically will assume that you're going to paste something. So it'll make it the size of the thing you're pasting. And then, oh, I think I need to crop this. Just right. Yeah, I do. Where's the crop button? Edit. No. Edit. Define pattern. It's not going to match up. It's going to be a terrible pattern. You can get a better pattern later, but this is just for the purpose of this.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what I want to do.
Bubbles.
Oh, this is opacity. You want this. And then in mask, we would want to make the parts that are on her arms completely black. Because we don't want that. I'm painting in black. I should be painting. Why is it not letting me do that? Okay. Well. And I didn't do that. Also, apparently, this, like, the way I'm making this sort of like live stream, it also records it and puts it on my YouTube. So possibly this can be accessible in the future.
Yeah, just then, what did you say?
Oh, apparently this, the way I'm doing this sort of live stream, it will possibly make it available on my YouTube channel, like it records it. So this could be accessible in the future. So there you go, now you have fishnet stockings.
Cool.
And I put it on multiply, which will completely take away the white areas. It doesn't apply any white colors.
Okay.
Of things. So it'll apply only the darker colors. Then you can just sort of chop them out. I don't know where the chop lines are. I can't quite see them. I can just one here. And then if I want to add the tights on underneath that you put in, you can do that.
Oh, okay. Cool.
There we go.
I did not think of to go to the internet for fishnet pattern at all.
You just drew it.
I was just kind of like, well, I kind of want them to just be kind of transparent, so.
Yeah, you could also like get like cross hatching pattern on there and put it like someone like did a cross hatching or something. Now for this, let's create a clipping mask. Let's see if I have lace in here. I don't think I do. I have a blood splatter. Do you want a blood splatter?
Sure, why not?
I'm just joking. Let's get like a lace pattern. See, I Google this a lot. All right, it's colored. I like these. Or like they're not colored. I like them. Okay, let's just copy.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's paste the lace. Well, that is cute, but it kind of looks kind of weird. So where is the edges of this? It's so big. There it is. Need it so much smaller. Just stretch it a little bit. Shh, don't tell anyone. It's a teeny bit stretched. Okay. And so for this, we can create like a layer mask. And actually I'd make it multiplier first so you can sort of see the parts that you don't want it on. And then the layer mask, I'll just paint with black. Stop it. It's being dumb. All right. This is like not teaching you a lesson because it's not letting me alter the mask at all. Oh, wait, you know what it is? It's because my brush is at 6% opacity. There we go. And there you go.
Did you also multiply the lace layer?
I did. So this is on multiply, this is on normal, which tells me that I forgot to get rid of this white part. So multiply. And then also, if you want to just take this lace layer and make it into like a transparent without a background, you can use my actions on this. So I see frame to line art. Yes. It did everything. Wait, undo. You could do that on a different layer and do it because I think it'd have to be by itself.
Okay.
Let's see, file, new, clipboard, edit, paste, and then crop it. And then do my action that is turn to line art. And you press play. And then now it's line art on a separate layer all on its own.
Cool.
And so you could, I'm going to duplicate this layer and so it's darker, merge it down. And then you can also change the colors. So I can lock transparent pixels, edit, fill. I'm going to go with color. And now it should be a dark red. So edit.
Cool.
And then if you want to copy it, edit, copy. Edit, fill. Wait, no. Edit, paste. Oh no, it's huge. It's just like the other one. But now it's like totally lace. Undoubtedly lace. And then we can apply the same mask to it that we applied to the other one. So let's make this a clipping mask. And then on top of that, have the mask selected. There we go.
Oh,
you can just drag it, apparently. I didn't know that beforehand. And then for your dress, you don't really want it. I'm just going to put another mask so I don't destroy your work. Can I duplicate this layer? For some reason on my pen, my right click's not working. I have to figure that out. So I'll duplicate this layer and invert, edit. And then apply this mask here. Just gonna start. And then I will add white. It's very complicated, but this is just how I would do this. Don't worry about the complexity. I'm just using something that I already did so it lines up properly. No, black, white. Black. Why is it not letting me go black? Okay, whatever. And then on the layer below it, I would put in your skin tone. Because if you're going to have anything transparent, you need to have the skin tone underneath there.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use the lasso tool? I can. Select, modify, expand, 1. Edit, fit, foreground color. And then we'll put oh yeah, it's all clipped to the dress. I forgot. We're gonna need to unclip it. And then we're going to need to make a new clipping mask or just cut parts off of it.
Okay.
Which might just be what I do. Wait, can I turn off your hair? Edit, fill it with black. But at least at this rate, even though it looks like some strange bondage gear, mix, just paint the rest out. And there we go. She has a lace top for her dress.
Yep.
And then you can shade beneath and around it to make it look more realistic.
Cool.
And sometimes I'll just apply textures on the fabric or on things like the boots just to make it like look more textured, and then just ever so slightly have it look like that. I could show you the layers on mine in this program here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's save this too. Let me put it in work. So let's just close these up. Yes. Oh, we didn't do a before and after with Quinn.
That's okay.
No, it's important.
Okay.
Let's not worry about that. Okay. So this, let's delete these. This is disable layer mask. This is before, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't duplicate it. And this is after. That's just for the top. Yay!
Yep. Yay.
No. Close this. And this is Clip Studio Paint, which I've been using, which allows me to do like that smudging technique that I was showing you.
Mm-hmm.
That I was struggling to do with the smudge tool. And if it opens, I can show you my folders or my files. So you can sort of see how I've been breaking down my work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's kind of messy. I'm a little ashamed.
So do you first do like Photoshop and then you put it in here, or?
No, I've been doing it all in Clip Studio Paint.
Okay.
So let's see. Celia has a lot of layers. I need to conceal the hangouts. There. I usually don't have it this big. I usually have like my reference on the side here because of a huge screen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's Celia, and then she's got a skirt with like a texture on it, and she's got a blouse. So if we open up all of her stuff, see, I didn't sort anything because I'm a crazy fool. I didn't name anything. It's even crazier. Oh, I had like a like a flattened version on the top there. So there we go. So like the bow, because it's cut of a different piece of fabric, I have it on a different, so it's the same pattern, but it's like on a different plane. If that makes any sense.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, and here's the skirt with and without the pattern. So I just sort of like applied different shading effects on top. So here's my shading over the flat. And so I can just change the pattern to whatever I want. I think here was another pattern that I had in here originally.
Oh, wow.
And so I can be as indecisive as I need to be.
Is this program like in the Creative Cloud stuff, or is it like a separate thing completely?
This is a program created by Smith Micro, the same company that produces programs like Manga Studio and like Animation Studio. And Clip Studio Paint Pro is a similar program, but it's unlike their other programs. You don't buy a physical disc; you buy like a digital download, and it's pretty much got a lot of the same features. But it's more of an illustration program, and it was originally designated as an illustration program as opposed to Photoshop. So it allows you to do some things that Photoshop doesn't do. And then I don't really need like all those like laser glow cloud filters and like softening of the focus lens that is in Photoshop, because that's for photography. This is for painting. And then another thing that it does is really nice, it's got a nice blend of like raster and vector layers. So for example, so these are my lines. My lines, you can see there's this little like white square next to them. That means it's a vector layer. So if I wanted to say, let's see, where's her, that's her chest, where's her arms? All right, I'll just play with her chest. And that sounds weird. If I needed to say like, I received some feedback saying that I needed to adjust like the size of her waist, I could just move these lines like this.
Oh, wow.
Rather than having to do it all over. So now her waist is smaller. I can take this line and I can physically move it in. I can click and drag it.
Oh, wow.
And also what's nice about this is that like, I know I was like trying to find them earlier, but that's just a force of habit. I really don't have to find the line. It'll like automatically take me to the layer that the line is on when I'm trying to move it. So this is her arm. Like you said, I needed to make her arm a little thinner. So I can just.
Because you were saying something about like they have to be skinnier or something. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, but look, I can just cheaper than surgery.
Oh, that's amazing.
As long as I'm told like before I color it, I can totally make all these adjustments and not worry. After I color it, like it's just a matter of stretching it, but it's like a pain.
Yeah.
So, and also this program is a single payment of $50 rather than all this money per month that we've been paying for the suite. Yeah, I've been paying $10 a month for just Photoshop and Lightroom because I don't need any more than that. Like I'm trying to use Illustrator, but the level of understanding I have of it is making me not want it at all. So this is me like making her legs smaller.
So would you recommend like this program over Photoshop, or?
I would highly recommend this program. A lot of the stuff that we've been learning to do in Photoshop, all the stuff that I just showed you in Photoshop, you can do in this program. So, and then this one is more designated for your illustration needs.
Which makes more sense.
Yeah, and also the vector drawing, like these lines that I'm able to move, it happens because, and the reason why the lines look so smooth is because when you stroke in vector mode layers, it will take your pen stroke and it'll smooth it out a little bit to make it look more like a professional, like inking sort of stroke.
Okay.
And just like the smudging of like the shading is super duper smooth. Let me create like a new layer. And also it's more designated for printing, so it'll automatically be in resolution 300. And then
Awesome.
all of the sizes are like mostly paper size, and then the paper size, it'll tell you the resolution. So this is 600 dpi. You
Mm-hmm.
don't need that. And then 72 dpi for like desktop size. So if you just know what you're doing, and then you can just put in your own custom stuff. I'm going to take off the draft settings because I don't need that. And the tools are organized like this is a pen, like a calligraphy pen kind of thing, and that's the one that'll smooth it for you. And it's an option over here, like vector magnet stabilization is the smoothing option, so I can reduce it, and it'll kind of look funky. And then I can smooth it out a lot, and it'll look much thicker and a lot more in tune with what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because the transition from traditional to digital is hard on everyone. The brush tools are awesome. My favorite brushes are dense watercolor. Wait, let's put this in a color. This is dense watercolor. And then you can go lighter and it's thinner and softer in opacity. And then you can take that with smooth watercolor and it'll blend it. And if you have another color next to it, in dense watercolor, you can take smooth watercolor and it'll blend the two together as you paint. And so that's what I was trying to do with the shading smudge earlier. It wasn't really working. I was trying to do that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I really love.
How do you spell the thing again? Clip something?
Clip Studio Paint Pro. It's up here. And just like give it a Google, and you know, it's a little hard to sort of like pick up and then the hardest part is sort of like finding your interface, like the way you want all your windows lined up, because I was totally confused for a while. And if you notice, it's like really similar to how I have my Photoshop set up.
Yeah.
As soon as I figured out how to do that, oh my God, wait, I didn't even tell you like one of the best parts. Okay, I go down in here. What is this? Okay, these are her arms, right? This is her left arm. Okay, I can go down here and I can select that vector layer where I did all the strokes. And then in layer properties, I can adjust, like if I want like a white outline around it, I can do that. It's not ideal, that one, but you can find situations where you want it. And if you want like a border effect, it just makes the lines stronger and more like cartoony. You can change that too. You can change the effect of like transparency. These are super cool. Blending mode, you can have multiple ones. And you can also have like screen tones going. You can't quite see it, but it's like all dotty right now. As if it was going to be a screen tone for printing. And you can also just change the color at any time.
That's awesome.
So if I want it to be pink, it's pink now. And you can just turn it off, and I didn't change anything at all.
That's awesome. Okay.
And there we go. I think that's the end of our lesson. Yay!
Yay. Thank you, Natasha.
I'll put some number 2.
Thank you.
Let's turn off the screen. And I think this might become a YouTube video. Like it says that it records it.
Okay.
So I'm going to end the broadcast now. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.